Hi everyone, this is Mohammed Al Musa, the Head of Learning Development at Coursera LLC, and I'm here to introduce you today to the 3D Adventures product. So what is the 3D Adventures product? It is essentially a lightweight, immersive learning environment where learners can log into the system and complete learning tasks in an immersive environment, which is similar to the VR environment. But the difference is that this is just a 3D environment that runs on mobile devices, tablets, and PCs, and doesn't require sophisticated hardware or goggles to access this environment. Differentiate these learning experiences from games that essentially the 3D Adventures experiences are designed in alignment with curriculum standards, and they are also backed by robust education, we will see shortly. So here are the benefits of immersive learning. First, we have enhanced understanding. Immersive environments improve the student understanding significantly. And here you can see on the right that we have compare and contrast between the understanding of traditional learning environment, and you can see these immersive environments increase the understanding by nearly 25%. We also have increased engagement. When learners engage with 3D environments that complete the tasks, and they are more likely to interact with this interactive environment, which improves their engagement and eventually leads to better learning outcomes. These immersive environments are designed to simulate real-world scenarios and problems. Students will get to practice these skills in real-world scenarios. And finally, we have increased retention. Students are more likely to retain the information and use them in other contexts in immersive environment as compared to a traditional learning environment. To demonstrate this, let's take a live demo of one of our products and see how to interact with it. The scenario here that the students will be taking the role of an astronaut. They will be required to solve simple but real-world problems that involve division and multiplication. This environment was designed for grade 3 students in the US, based on the CCSS educational standard. Once you log into the learning environment, you can see here a welcome screen that explains the scenario and the stations in the scenario, as well as the educational standards and the controls that you're going to use to interact with this learning environment. Let's click on Start a Mission to access the environment. And here you can see that we have essentially 4 stations. Each one of them contains a problem that the student is required to solve. Collapse these 2 widgets here and move on to our learning environment. We will use the mouse scroll buttons to scroll closer to this station here. And it says here we have a communication array space station. If you hover over these blocks over here, it says 100 satellite panels. So each one of these blocks is essentially 100 satellite panel, right? And if you click on this station here, you can see a problem here shows connect 9 satellites to 100 panels each. How many total planet connections do you have? So this is essentially a multiplication of 9 by 100. And here we have our options, and the learner is expected to tap in the right answer. So let's click on one of the wrong answers here, and we are receiving a feedback that this one is the wrong answer, and our prompt is expecting the correct answer. So let's click on 900 in this case, and you can also see that we have a correct feedback, and we are ready to move on to the next mission. To navigate through the environment, you can also click on the right mouse button and drag the environment to the right, and then use the scroll button to navigate to this station. All right. Let's hover over these blocks over here, and they show 100 solar panel. Let's click on the station, and here our problem pops up. Build a solar grid with 8 rows of 50 panels each. How many total panels do you need? Which is essentially a multiplication of 8 by 50, which should yield a 400 response. So let's click on that and move on to the next problem over here, which is related to the mining operation on this planet, right? So let's click on this station here, and read the instructions. And now we are expecting to share a 1200 ore units equally among the 3 mining ships. How many units per ship do we have? So we'll divide 1200 by 3 and we should get a 400. And now that we have solved that, let's move on to the other station over here and click on the station. Let's move to the left a little bit here and to the top in order to read the prompt. Engineering challenge: build 6 habitat modules, each with 100 square meters. What is the total living space? 6 by 100, which should yield 600. Let's click on that, and now we have completed our challenge. The learner has this free 365 view over the learning environment. They can take a look at the stars, the moon, the earth also. So you can see that this is a very immersive learning environment that the learner can engage and interact with, which is fun, and it helps learners to relate problems to real-world scenarios, which improve their retention eventually. All right, so this is all about our 3D adventure solution. We also have other samples of our demo, so feel free to check out our websites at www.coursehaddy.org. And you can also contact us for more information or inquiries.